God bless my haters. God bless fake hoes. God bless these haters. Cause God only knows that. All I do is get it. 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 All I do is get it.
You can't see yourself? Is it because it's Black History Month? You can't see yourself? You're darker? I can see myself. I am Shirley Ann Phillips III.
And this is Baldwin.
In the flesh. Welcome back. It's Black History Month.
It is Black History Month.
So we're going to be extra. Yeah! Even though he's not black, he's black. But, not.
African blood runs through Hispanic also.
He's black by association, actually. But we were just talking about the children that we teach. At least the 8th graders that I teach are extra black this month. They're getting exposed to things that they are not normally exposed to in their social studies classes, such as the picnic, the origin of the picnic. And is my mic working?
Oh, is mine working? Hello,
Check,
hello.
1, 2.
Okay.
All right.
We're good.
Yeah, so what had happened was I had to give them the breakdown of what the word or how the word originated, and they're not happy.
Mm-hmm.
They're not happy. And we saw
wait
pictures.
till they learn more.
I did introduce them to the delectable Negro as well. So not only were we killing black people for no reason, we were also eating them, Caucasians.
Yep.
And they're a little mortified. And I'm like, this is not, a horror flick. This is real life. This is history.
And what I told my kids is like, you are only being exposed to like 10% of what actually happened. You can't imagine the horror that's been left out of a lot of these textbooks and a lot of the knowledge that they've wanted us to acquire. So God only knows what else horrific happened during that time that we are just not told.
That we're not told. And there's really, there's evidence of it, but, people can interpret things however they want. There's very little record of this stuff. And so that's why it's so critical that teachers are educated. And I would say this. I implore you, if you are a teacher, especially of social studies or history, and there's a lot that you don't know or you're not quite sure of, please do the research. And don't be afraid to say, I don't know, but I will get back with you.
Yep.
Don't just skip over it because it makes you uncomfortable or because you don't feel that you know enough. And those are the conversations we're having.
It's definitely critical to teach our students the right information. And there's, that big debate over critical race theory and what it actually means. And people are afraid of us teaching our students the truth.
Why, though?
Because they have something to hide. Critical race theory is nothing but American history.
It's
like
American history.
The truth of what happened, or at least the truth that we know to be true.
We're currently on Mouse, which is a book about the Holocaust. And it just so happens that it's been banned in Tennessee, I think it was.
Yeah, they're like burning books.
They're burning books. And, they're like, oh, the kids don't need to know about that. They're not mentally prepared in middle school. They don't even know about 9/11. And I'm like, but what does that have to do with the price of tea in China? This happened. And our Jewish brethren are not happy. And now I'm like, you guys know how it feels now to have the masses want to obliterate what happened to your people. So I would hope that our Jewish brethren are a little bit more sensitive to African-American struggles in this country.
Speaking of Jewish people.
Speaking of which.
So you know that Whoopi Goldberg was... she got suspended from The View.
2 weeks.
For 2 weeks because she made a comment. Did you watch the episode?
I did.
I didn't watch the episode.
I did.
I just saw like clips of what it was that she said. How do you feel about that?
I'm outraged. And to me, it's another example of a systematic public lynching. We are going to show you that you need to stay in your place. We don't care that you won an Emmy and a Grammy and an Oscar and a Tony. We don't care. You're still black. You're a woman, and stay in your place.
A black person telling the truth. Because what she said.
Yeah. Like, when I saw the clip, I was like, there is nothing wrong with what she's saying.
She just gave an opinion. She didn't even say anything derogatory about Jewish people. She
No.
just said that she felt it wasn't about race.
If you think about it, Hitler even said Jewish is not race.
No, they're
Because
not.
if you see a Jewish and a white person together walking without the little hammock hat, you will not know the difference.
Not the little.
Not the Hanukkah.
Whatever that damn little thing that they
I
wear.
think a Yamaha.
Yamaha, you know?
No, I'm
Yarmulke,
thinking
yarmulke.
Yamaha. It's
Yeah,
a
right?
yarmulke.
Yarmulke,
But you
right?
made me think of a Yamaha.
Right. But if they're not wearing that, you would not know.
No, of course not,
But
because
if
they're
you see a black person
racially
with a white person,
white.
you would know their race. So that's what she was trying to say.
yes, 100%. So
Jewish
even
is not a race.
it
It's
is not a race.
religion.
It's a religion and an ethnicity.
And yes.
There's a
And
difference between
Right.
ethnicity and race, right? Race, there are only four, and one of them is white, and
Technically.
Jewish people count. And that was all socially constructed anyway.
These are social constructs.
She was saying
Race,
it too.
yeah.
People know their history. Like you guys are teachers, and I always listen to you guys saying other teachers have to learn your history. I
They
wish
have
there was
to.
teachers like you guys, but they have to learn. Half of the Jewish people got away because they took off that thing and they didn't act like they were Jewish, so they can go right through the line
Yeah.
of the regular white people.
Yeah.
So it's not a race. So that's all that Whoopi was going. Oh, don't say those things. Let's burn her and get
There
her
was so much outrage, right? Because like when you think about the history of the construction of race, it was so that slavery could be justified, and slavery was race based at this point. So they needed to be able to divide the people based on skin color.
Skin color.
So if you were black, right, it lived up to their idea of what race was, and that's how they justified it. Whoopi, I don't think she was wrong, and I think it's 2 weeks she'll be back.
I
whatever.
want her to resign.
She's debating about it.
I
She
really
was
would
just
like for
on
her to
on a
resign.
show saying, they told me to shut up, but here I am on the radio telling you guys, it was not a race
It's-
war.
yeah.
It was a religion war,
Yeah.
and y'all people
Yeah.
don't want to listen. So she might not come back.
Yep.
I
They
don't want her to
some
come
some people call it like they call it an ethnic cleansing as well, but there shows you right that it was about ethnicity and religion mostly, but not about race. I
But
don't think there was anything wrong with what she
2
said.
weeks though. I think they said she's losing like $192,000 in those 2 weeks.
I didn't read that, but that's like only $20 to us. You know what I'm
It's
saying?
nothing to her,
It's nothing
but
to her.
still, it's a lot. And
I think
for
the
what?
the social perception of it, right? Like we are telling a black woman to stay in her place.
Stay in your place.
That's what it is.
I think that's the most damaging because it's character assassination.
It is.
You know?
And the name of your show is The View.
Yeah.
So I can't have my own view.
But Meghan McCain was allowed
Meghan
to
McCain is
Oh, my
make
gosh.
a spectacle of everything, right? They've had
every
so
other
many.
week.
So many of their moderators have had such a strong opinion about Black Lives Matter and police brutality and how we still have systemic oppression in this country, or we don't. And they've argued for that. You
They've
know?
argued for that.
It,
So-
it doesn't make sense to me. But I really think that it is a critical time in our country. I always tell my students that something's a brewing. There is going to be a civil war. Not
Be
maybe
like a
not.
race war.
It's gonna eventually boil down to that because it seems like tensions are
Tensions
high
are
again.
very high, and I really, 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 my heart goes out to all of these officers that are being gunned down for no reason. Another officer was shot on Saturday. He's in the hospital. He did live. Hopefully, it
Oh, the
comes
one
out.
in Harlem.
Yeah, just this past Saturday. So that's like the sixth officer I think that's been shot within like 2022.
It's really
So
Crazy.
people are really taking their aggressions out on law enforcement. Aggressions are being taken out on women.
and it's aggression against the
Is
system,
this
right?
I wonder if this is the sixth one that they telling us about just to get us pissed off because maybe there was police dying and we never knew. You understand?
Well,
I think it's to combat the whole like defund police,
yes.
right? It's to get the public to join in and say like, no, we
I didn't
need
even
police
think about
officers.
that.
But that's
Yeah.
it's all by design, right? What are people angry about? People are angry about opportunities that they're not getting. They're not getting
Mm-hmm.
the right employment opportunities. They're not getting mental health care, right? A lot of people are losing jobs. They are victims of the pandemic. Our people, our communities of color are dying at rates that are surpassing that of white suburban people.
And we have been for a while.
And it's like a cycle, right? Because if it's not this, it's the crack epidemic. It's like a way to destroy our communities, and this is all by design. And I was thinking about this a lot on the day that it snowed this past week. We literally, the Bronx coming into work was a disaster. Like, streets were not plowed. Streets were not. The traffic was outrageous.
Hey, you're coming from Jersey.
I
I can't even imagine.
Jersey was pretty clean,
They had been preparing for days.
and you mean to tell me the Bronx can't?
New York,
We can't do anything.
New York. Hold on.
No, no, wait.
Oh,
So
thank you.
and leave this one on, off. So this is mine now. This one. You know I'm special needs.
I'm
All
here
right, can
for
you
you,
hear me?
Shirley.
Mic check. 1, 2. This is my power.
Is this better? This one's better. I'm your paraprofessional. Hi.
Hi.
I'm here to
I have
help
a
you.
504.
You get extended time.
I get extended time.
and directions read out
And
loud.
directions. No, New York pretended or acted as if they just woke up and somebody was like, "Oh, by the way, we're gonna have a snowstorm today." Like they had no prior
No, but
notice.
Manhattan was very clean.
No one cares about the Bronx.
Nope.
Harlem was bad too.
Harlem was bad as well.
Yeah.
Harlem
It
was bad. It's
from
all the
like-
communities where people like us
People
live.
of
you know?
color.
They don't want us to have anything.
I don't know. That's why I said I'm over everyone. I'm over. Oh, our guest is here. It's outside. He says. Sorry.
It's really the level of anxiety that I get by simply
Existing.
like living, driving to work is ridiculous.
Well, now I never had safety concerns before, but I have them now. Like it never bothered me, but now that situation with the 2 officers that were killed on the domestic violence call,
The
that
first
was
one.
disturbing because
The first like major one in this wave.
yes, for those of you that are not in the area, I don't know how it's being reported nationwide, but basically there was a domestic violence situation where a mom was having a domestic dispute with her son, who was clearly having mental health issues, and had gotten physical. So she called the police in Harlem. Police arrived, not 1, but 2 officers. Actually 2 plus. I think there was some outside as well. So she's thinking, good, I'm safe. The police are here. And unfortunately, the police were ambushed. They're in the apartment, and they were ambushed by her psycho son. Both shot, eventually died a couple days after in the hospital. And, of course, the assailant, did he kill himself too? Or did the officer shoot him? I think the officer may have shot him.
I don't.
I apologize if I
But
got
I know one of them died almost instantly, and then the other one died a few days.
He died a few days later. And they were both young officers. They were very excited about.
like 2 or 3 years in.
They'd only been there for 2 or 3 years. Both excited about their jobs, and that did something to me because it's like you can't even feel comforted knowing that the police have arrived on the scene because you don't know what psychopath is there with a gun. And you just pointed out a minute ago, it's mental health. Everyone, it's not the guns. Guns don't kill people. Mentally ill people with
Who have
guns
access to guns
kill people.
Yeah.
And you know, I see it with my boys. I was just talking to a friend of mine. So I have a very special group of boys that come to me with issues that they don't really feel comfortable talking to their parents about. And they wanted to know if any men that I knew had ever suffered from depression or had bouts with depression when they were in middle school. And I'm like, let me find out and let me see. So I've been asking around. And the men that I'm asking, they're very, what's the word I'm looking for? They're kind of apathetic. It's kind of like a get over it, man up. And I'm like, you can't. That's the problem. You can't be like that. These are kids, and they're reaching out. And I am proud that they're coming to me. That makes me feel good about the work that I do. But men tend to kind of just brush off depression and anxiety, and that's how ridiculous suicides and homicides, unfortunately. So I don't know what to tell them, Foxy. I really don't know, because it used to be go out and play or go, you know.
Right. And they, like, our kids are products of a lot of the society that we've passed on to them. So we've passed on to them a society that is clearly showing us that there are so many issues systemically that we haven't addressed. We are continuing to live in the, like, standards and the norms that were allowed 20, 30 years ago.
Oh my God.
Right? Like when I was in middle school, I am sure that I suffered from some sort of trauma, depression that was
How
never.
did you deal with it?
I just live life with it.
Did you
But
know that something was wrong?
I always knew something was wrong, but I was afraid to talk to anyone about it. So I think I found a lot of relief in, I don't know, like I found relief in school.
Okay. See, I hear a lot
Like
of
in friends,
I hear a lot of men say that.
You know.
School.
But sometimes
sports.
school was a nightmare
Why?
because I got bullied a lot for being gay. So
Did
like
you?
have all these, yeah, like growing up, my entire childhood was spent like getting tormented by people
Are you
bullying me for being
serious?
gay. Yeah,
I
so
did not know this.
it's awful. It's awful to live that way, and then you eventually like grow up and you realize that you are more than the people that are bullying you and the words and the things that they're saying to you.
And kids
Right.
are so cruel.
But you have to live with it, and I definitely found a lot of comfort in academics, like doing well academically, right? Joining
clubs. Yeah.
like I was in ROTC
Were
growing
you?
up in high school.
I
yeah.
did not know this either.
So I
Do you
found
see this, ladies and
that.
gentlemen?
Seriously.
I didn't know that.
I was in like the musicals, and I found a way to like take my mind off of
Wow.
everything, but it was hard.
So let me ask you this. Did your dad know about what you were going through?
No, my parents didn't know. I was so afraid.
They had no idea.
No, it was
'Cause they're-
like living a double life.
You had to
That's
come
what it
home and
was.
pretend like everything was okay.
My life was a dichotomy of what was going on.
Was this in Peru or in
This
the
was
States?
in Peru and in the United States.
So there was no reprieve when you came to the States?
Nope, it was the same.
Probably worse
Yeah, worse,
because you were older.
a lot worse.
Yikes.
So you have to like carry this trauma, and our kids today, if they don't have one person that they feel comfortable talking to, that's an adult,
Yeah.
right? That is someone that they can confide in and process their feelings with.
Not
They are
one.
continuing to carry that trauma for the rest of their lives. So then they get to be adults, right? And they turn into these men or women
Yes.
who have no outlet. So
There's
if you
no
think about
outlet.
that domestic violence case with the son, he probably grew up tormented. He probably felt like he didn't have any outlet.
Mm-hmm.
So that mental health situation is eating away at him.
And then you're attacking your own mother. And I try to tell the kids that I'm with that when you have issues with your mom, that's a big red flag. And you have to address it before it addresses you. And you have to come to terms with that, make peace, get therapy, do whatever it is you need to do, especially our boys,
We need
because
more access to mental health care
early.
early, like elementary school, middle school,
Yes.
so that our students are feeling support, especially communities of color. We don't get the support that we need. So that boy he probably had a lot of trauma caused by his mother.
Yes.
And
Yep.
so this is his way of taking it out on her.
Oh, Jesus.
So you got to think about the root of that. So he did, I'm sure he had a lot of mental health issues that were, of course, unaddressed, but it's rampant
It's rampant. And
in our
in the
communities of color,
Bronx,
especially in our men.
the boys and men in the Bronx are out of control. Okay? It's like World War X right now in the Bronx.
And we see it as teachers, Shirley.
I see it every day as a teacher, just in the attitudes towards each other. Like they're so cruel to each other. Some of the things that are said to myself, to other teachers, just it's diabolical sometimes. The things that they do and say to each other.
Lack of empathy.
They're apathetic, and I do remember that was one sign of a psychopath was apathy.
Apathy.
No ability to feel.
Of course, because it's a response to trauma.
It's a response to trauma.
Your mind, like if you've been trauma, everybody has a certain level of trauma. And your response as you're growing up is to block people out, to block
Jesus.
things out. So I grew up that way, like where I would immediately shut down. And I'm still kind of like that. Like if you come to me with something that I feel is an attack towards me or my character, I completely shut you down. Like I block you off. I don't want to talk about it. I don't, and it shows
Do you
up
tell people I don't want to talk about it, or do your actions just show?
I say it because I'm aware of it. Like I don't want to talk about it. But how is it received by others?
Emotionally unavailable.
Emotionally unavailable, right? And then
Interesting.
a lot of people are into, because of their trauma, they have this like black and white thinking, which is like it's a big problem. Like you either like me or you don't. Either, yeah, seriously, like, you think I'm capable or you think that I'm the worst.
There's no in between.
There's no in between. It's either one or the other, and that's also a trauma response. Like, a lot of these things are traumas that we're not addressing in our
We're not
community.
addressing. And that's what I would hope that the Department of Education realizes is that we have to address it, give them coping skills. First, show them how to recognize it as early as possible, and how to cope with it. Because a lot of the trauma it's inescapable when you're a child. Like, if this is who is providing for me, I may have to be in this dysfunctional environment for more years than I care to, admit to.
And it's a revolving. Like, think about how much of this trauma has been brought out and exacerbated because of the pandemic, right? Like, a lot of these students have had to be at home during remote learning, so all this extra trauma that they didn't even know they had within them is being brought out, right? So now they're shutting out school because, like, what is school providing for them that they need? Because academics, you're not going to learn if you have unresolved issues. You're just not going to learn.
Do you think so?
No, you're not going to learn unless you have the emotional capacity, the emotional maturity to say, like, let me put this trauma aside and compartmentalize everything that I'm going through. It's all one. Like, that takes training. That takes time.
And why would I care about
like,
school if my basic needs are not being met?
And that's what it is. Are we meeting these students' basic needs? And we're not. And I see it. And I feel really awful.
I feel awful. And they also see their teachers unhappy, pretending to be happy, many of us. And they're like, so this is what I have to look forward to? A job that I hate? And a misery? Yelling, screaming,
because that's
working.
what it is.
And yikes.
And social media is also pointing out to them, we spoke about this the last time, that there are possibilities outside of school and college.
Absolutely.
So now what's the point of me going to school?
So why do I need to go to college when this one's getting rich on TikTok and,
shaking her ass? Right. Like, why do I even need to sit in this class?
For what reason?
And copy notes and take a test if I can make $50,000 doing something else
that doesn't involve that.
That doesn't involve any of that.
Yeah, that's interesting.
So it's a combination of all these factors that I don't think we're addressing whatsoever.
Whose job is it to address it, though?
It's the educational system in this country. I was reading an article that said that the schooling in the 1800s was only offered to the elite.
To the elite, yeah.
And then you were off to college after, and men, rich white men, had access to education. Later on in the 1800s, women had access to an education through colleges that catered just to women.
White women.
And then HBCUs came into the picture, and that was for all black people who wanted an education. But the system of education as we know it, from 8 to 4, 8 to 3, whatever it is, was to train our students of all socioeconomic levels to be complacent in order to train them for the factory work after.
Yeah. Afterwards.
Right? It was like a mini microcosm of society.
And even, I was just talking to my boyfriend today about this, even like in the 60s and 70s, when you went to high school, you went with a trade. You left with a trade. So with women, it may have been some type of home ec, sewing, or secretarial. Men, carpentry, or some type of laboring ability. So it wasn't completely useless to go to high school. You knew that you would be able to get a job when you came out, versus being forced to go to college in order to make something of your life. College was, like you said, just for the elite, or for people that wanted to be in professions, doctors, lawyers, et cetera. So I think that we really need to bring that back, because what we're finding is that a lot of the skilled labor jobs are vacant because there's no one learning them.
No, because everybody's being sent off to college. And that's the only measure of success that we can say that we have in place in order to, like, track student performance, right? Like, we measure the ultimate level of success by those that are able to go to college. But that's not for everyone. And success doesn't just mean college.
It doesn't. It really doesn't.
Something to reconsider.
You know
what? I want to be chancellor.
We need to be chancellor. Hi.
Get me
Eric
out
Adams.
there.
I have beef with Eric Adams. Anytime you want to sit down and talk, because he doesn't understand the reality of what's happening in these classes. I respect that he has spoken his mind, so much so that he's gotten in trouble this past weekend. Some
Lord.
tapes that have resurfaced of him calling white people crackers. He tried to clean it up, but
Oh
it's
my
like, sir,
God.
just own it and let's just move on. But I do think that it's not difficult, the changes that need to be made. They just need to be made.
Yep.
Kids it's everything that we're teaching, it's falling on deaf ears. And
Oh my God, everything.
even in high school, you're seeing this. Because I always hope that high school is like this, here after this, where everything is better, and you're telling me it's not.
Not at all. Like in a classroom of 30 students, I probably have 10,
They give a damn.
maybe 10, right? 5 to 10 in each of these groups that I see every day that actually like will sit there and listen and ask questions and really like try to learn.
You're teaching like gifted and talented kids, too, right?
I teach both. I teach regular students, a lot of students with IEPs, right? And it's like a mixed bag. A lot of kids, literally, a lot of kids sit there on their phones. A lot of them are sleeping. Kids walk out, come back 30 minutes later. It's like I don't even know why they're there.
Why are you even here?
You're not teaching anymore. It's like, it's babysitting.
Here's what I propose. We got like 1 minute and we got to take a break. Probably less than that. I think that you should have like a 3-strike system. You have 3 times to get like in trouble, whether it's suspended or whatever, in trouble with admin. I think your report card grades should be 70 or above. Anything under 70, you got 3 strikes, and then your parents have to figure it out. Either they pay for you to get private school, charge. I don't feel that kids should be forced to go to school when they have made a conscious decision that they don't want to be there and that they're not going to try. This social promotion nonsense at my expense, because we're paying for this. This is coming out of our paycheck. I don't think you should be forced to stay in school until you're 16 if you know for a fact that this is not what you want to do. There are some kids who already know that they're going to be whatever, cosmetologists.
Yep.
Or
I've asked my students, like, I've had conversations with them about like their motivation for being in school, and not a single one, even the kids that are considered like the good kids, not a single one of them could tell me like why they were motivated to be there.
They don't want to be there.
The only reason they're there is because parents are forcing them.
The city is forcing them
And I'm
because
like,
we're
wait,
babysitters.
If you had the option to not be here, would you be here?
No.
They wouldn't.
That speaks volumes.
I know.
And it's an easy remedy. Don't make them be here. So that way you're only teaching the kids who want to be there and know that the career that they have in mind requires them to have college and high school diploma.
More technical training, I think, is needed.
More technical training and more skilled trades. Yeah.
Even some kids, like when they're 4 or 5, you know that they don't like school. Some kids, like my nephew loves learning.
Some kids love learning.
And then I have nieces and nephews that don't.
They don't like to read.
And I'm like, okay, well, they're telling you right now.
And that doesn't mean I'm going to be a loser. Maybe I don't like reading and writing, but I can draw my ass off.
What do they like, right? Do they like talking? Do they like painting? Do they like singing? What is it that they like? Because right there, that's the evidence you need to say, like, education is maybe not the right path for this little muffin.
This one.
Or
let them figure it out.
Yeah.
Give them time to find themselves. But we're going to take a quick break. Listen, we're so off topic, but not really, because our guest is going to school us on this phenomenon of Africa in New York. I'm going to say Africa in New York City because it's taking over, and I'm learning things from him. I'm learning things from African students, from African musicians that I feel needs to be, what's the word I'm looking for? Help me, Tara.
Showcased.
It needs to be broadcast, like nationwide, like the attitude, the aggression, the passion that he has, the artists that he works with. It's trending, and I feel that there's going to be a takeover of sorts, and African Americans are in trouble. America in general is in trouble because if Africa comes and puts its foot down the way that I know it can, it's over for us. And we're going to talk. We have Mr. Nana NYC in the house. He's going to be schooling us today. He made it safe and sound. I thought he'd gotten abducted, but he's here.
Hey everybody, I'm Lil D.
I am Javier Luis.
I'm Alex Polanco.
I'm Apollonia Cruz.
And I'm Kelly Cooper.
I am Shirley Phillips.
I am Emmanuel Ansule. Do you know 1 in 4 women will experience domestic violence
During their lifetime.
And domestic violence and abuse can happen to anyone,
regardless of gender, race, or other factors?
2 out of 3 homicide cases are
Females who were killed by a family member or intimate partner.
As domestic violence victims, they face high rates of depression,
Sleep disturbances,
anxiety,
flashbacks, and other emotional distresses.
And without help, witnesses of domestic violence are more vulnerable to become abusers themselves.
Thus continuing the cycle of violence in the next generation.
Hello, I'm Charles Aloma. Join the LDM network and Safe Horizon and take a step into changing these facts. So if you are or know someone that is being abused, please call the City Domestic Hotline at 1-800-621-4673. So that is 1-800-621-HOPE.
speak up,
Speak out.
And make a difference.
And just know that you don't have to deal with this alone. There is help.
Can you hear me? All right, we are back, you guys. Our mics have a mind of their own, but we are back, and I'm super duper excited with our guest, Mr. Nana NYC in the flesh. How you doing,
Thank you.
It's a lot. It's a lot. I don't know if you guys are able to hear our conversation. He's got his beautiful wife here with him, but Nana and I see this every day on the front lines. We see the effects that society is having on our children, particularly our boys. And I decided that he needed to come and speak because there's a vast difference in our African students and our African American students, particularly our boys. The drive, the dedication, the level of respect that they show adults. Even when they're wrong and we're like fussing at them, they never bark at us. They just take the L. I've even had Ibrahim has come to me on several occasions. That's our resident Nigerian student. Yep. He's come to me on several occasions and apologized after class for his class's behavior. Yeah. Oh and I respect that. So I just want you to talk to us about what it is you do and why it is you do it in New York City.
Well, first, let me thank you for having me on the show.
No problem.
Nice to meet you also.
I came here real early, like 1992. I came from Africa, from Ghana.
Wow.
To over here.
Oh, Jesus, hold on. All right, so we're gonna try this one more time. So say that one more time.
Yeah. So once again, shout out to everybody. I want to thank thank Shirley for having me on the show. Yeah. Yeah. Definitely like I said, I came from Ghana like 92. I was real young. Wow. And I've been here and just growing up, even being in Ghana and being here is a big difference. But mainly like I do what I do as far as what I am, because I do a lot of different things. Because when I first got here, my culture, I didn't have a lot to cling on to. That was back home. What do you mean? Like example, okay, I'll take it as easy as this. I played soccer a lot. Mm-hmm. Like we call it football. Mm-hmm. When I first got here, there was no, like it was more like basketball, and if it was soccer, it was more like kickball. So I had to learn to basically still stick to my culture, but still adapt to what's happening here in order to be happy, or be able to, what I'm saying. So it's a lot that goes into it, man. But I'm happy to be here, and it's a struggle, but we'll get there.
It's a struggle. And I wanted to ask you, did you come from a two-parent home? Was it a single-parent home? And if so, how did that shape who you ended up becoming as an individual?
Okay, well, as early on, my mother and my dad, it didn't work out early from Ghana. Like her, she was an entrepreneur. My dad was, very wealthy. Yeah, he was wealthy. But my mom was a hardworking lady too. And what happened is that usually when a man and woman don't work out, in Africa, most of the men they have the money. They will take the kids. But my mom was also well off, and she was able to basically take us. You know what I mean? So, I grew up in a single mother home, like a single parent home. I came here in '92. Again, my mom, she was very strong. She was the mom and the dad. She was, of course, in an African home, you get whippings. So we get whipped, yeah. I'm saying, messing out on homework, you get whipped.
Yeah.
With
you get
the
a phone
first
call from the
available
house.
inanimate object.
Yeah, you get whipped. And the thing about it is that, I didn't grow up upset about that, because I always knew it's like, it was the consequences. I knew what I did wrong. I feel like sometimes people forget what they did wrong to get the punishment. Yeah, but it shaped me up, man. I grew up in like I said, I was a single mother, but she was strong as hell, man. And her rules stuck to me, and she's gone.
Were you rebellious?
No, not rebellious. I think what it was is that you see what I do now. I'm into entertainment, and I was into entertainment early. And most Africans I was here was like driving cabs and trying to be doctors and nurses and stuff like that, and like the nursing home. So I was kind of unorthodox because I wanted to do music, and there wasn't anybody that came before me that did what I did. So it didn't make sense at first. So it seemed like it was a little rebellion, but after a while, like my mother got to know what I was really about. After I dropped my own little, independent, like records, and I was out on the road selling CDs. She was like, "Yo, you serious?" And from there, she took it in. And I was like 18, 19 when she realized that I'm serious with it. Yeah. So
I have a question, Nana. Like, when you first came from Ghana, did you feel a sense of community in the United States? Did you feel like there were other people who also came from Africa that were like you, that you could build community with?
Yeah, honestly, when I first came, I was just the way I am now. Like I said, I've always been unorthodox, outspoken. Most of the African kids were quiet. You know what I'm saying? And this is not anything I'm happy to say, but before I got here, I used to get in a lot of fights. You know what I mean? Like my mother, the reason why I actually came here so early and so quick was because I was getting in so much trouble back home. You know what I'm saying? So she kind of she worked in a nursing. She was a home health aide person, and she had it was living, and she had to literally go out to the post office to call back home, because we don't have we didn't have the phones where you could call. So it was more like, I keep leaving the job to go. I'm sneaking out to go and call because you're getting in trouble. The next few more times that phone call coming, you ask to come to America, and that's how I ended up coming to America. I got in so much
trouble.
So much trouble, whatever. Yep.
That's so funny because our stories are kind of similar, only from my dad's perspective. My dad is from Nigeria, and he was same as you. He set his own path, and he was supposed to be studying to be a doctor.
Yeah.
But he's driving a cab and selling weed. Okay.
Of course, gotta hustle.
Got himself in trouble.
Hustling,
But he got deported not because of his own. It was because of one of his passengers had left weed in the car,
my God.
And his visa had expired.
Oh yeah, it's over.
So he was taking a fare from Detroit to Canada, and then went through customs, and the rest is history.
Oh my
but
God.
to this day, he frowns upon people that go to school that don't go for a doctor, lawyer. So to see someone like you commit to what it is they're passionate about, and what you love, what you were purposed to do. Remember we talked last week about that.
Purpose.
The purpose. I feel like that's your purpose.
Oh yeah, indeed.
Is to show another side of it. But I wanted to know. We know that you are a producer, but you are also Ghana Music Awards USA Artist of the Year in 2020, and Rapper of the Year in 2021.
Indeed.
So congratulations to you for that. I think is there a difference between Afro beats and like African hip hop, or is it all considered one and the same?
It's a big difference. Now,
you get that a lot?
Yes. Because I think you know what it is. People are not catching on to Afrobeat stuff. It's like this. It's almost like the reggaeton era.
Okay.
If you know about reggaeton, like basically like Hispanic hip hop, what they're going Now, what it is that when the song go commercial, they kind of take it like Americans try to take it and add their own stuff to make it what it is. You know what I'm saying? When it's really the other way. For example, Drake, Wizkid has a song called "Come Closer" or "Was It Closer" that Drake jumped on, and most people thought that was Drake's song.
Oh wow!
Come Closer. I forgot. I don't really but if you look it up, it's called "Closer." But I'm saying to say that when you listen to authentic Afrobeat sound before the Americans really got involved, it has its own different sound. Now what I do is rap. I rap.
Okay.
Growing up here, most of my friends, I grew up in America. I grew up here, so most of my friends were hip hop artists. I was the person that knows about the African wave in a group of people who didn't want to hear about the African wave. So it's kind of like I'm nurturing it around people who don't want to hear about it, but I still got to nurture it. At the same time, I'm learning about what you're doing because that's what's going. That's what's happening.
That's what's happening.
So I got to learn about that too and also master it. So I'm kind of caught like in the middle. You know what I'm saying? So I was the hip hop artist that would basically take an African beat and rap an English verse on it, right?
Okay.
Or take an American beat and rap an African verse on it.
Okay.
So that's just that's what I was doing. Okay. Yeah. So the Afro beats that they're doing now, it's more like is what they're trying to like pattern. You know what I'm saying? They're trying to make it.
Trying to make it their own.
Yeah. Because I mean, when Afrobeat started, if you look it up, I've been out here for like the last. All the artists, like I've done. I mean, 85% of when we first started here, I had a hand in. You know what I'm saying? I sold tickets to events. I worked a lot of artists. I picked them up from the airports, like put them in a hotel, just different things, man. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I know what the Afrobeat was like.
Do they forget about you though? Like once they blow up, are they grateful?
No, because the thing about it is that you can't forget about. Like I got my own company, my own things going. So it's times where I've flown to a state and met an artist. Like, whoa, Nana NYC. Crazy stuff. I was just in Vermont yesterday or 2 days ago to with Inspector Deck, who's part of Wu-Tang. Yeah, he had a show out there, and of course I flew. I went there to go do an interview with him. And when I went there, the person that he was with was a person that I met in the studio in Worcester.
Oh wow!
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. So I was in the recording studio with the guy he's walking with like, yo, that's Nana.
I know him, yeah.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. So so I've been, you know what I mean. So I've been ever. So you can't really forget a person that's still grinding because I don't look for what they could give me. Like I always got something in my hand all the time.
And he's so low key and so humble. You would not know that the clothing that he wears is his own clothing company. He wears every day. I'm still waiting on my sweatshirt.
It's coming.
By the way,
it's coming. It's coming.
I've seen
it's coming. It's coming. It's coming.
Because he's black too. Everybody black. You know, as I tell the children, we're all black. Everybody's black. Everybody came from black woman. Period. All y'all black. Okay. But he's so humble, and that's what I think I respect the most is the humility. He doesn't go around bragging, about what he's done or what he's had a hand in. How did you become that way? How do you think you became with that type of character?
All right.
It's not common in New York.
Nah, I think what it is again.
I hate to hear about it.
Yeah, I know. Like New York is crazy. New York is it's a thick cloud of like negativity that you got to just cut through to get through. You know what I'm saying? But when I first got here, honestly, I've always had like a plan, right? And my plan didn't always go with the group that I'm with. So again, it just became with knowing that okay, I want to do this African thing. The people around me don't really understand that's what's gonna be in the next 10 years. So what I'll do is that I'm gonna still rock with y'all. And do what y'all do, right? While, like I said, I nurture and do what I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? Right. So what it was is like basically, like again, I found myself finding a genre and saying, oh wow, like my friends, even my American friends, began to ask me to rap my African verses. Like I go to my African friends and they want to hear English, and I go to my American friends and they want to hear the Africans, and they don't, you know what I'm saying? The Americans, they don't understand the African joint, but it's like, yo, wow, you'll spit that again, and they will spit it with me, like, and my friends like, wait, did he just? like my African friends like, did he just say that with you? I was like, yeah, does he understand it? Like, no, he doesn't understand it, but he's spitting it with me.
Still spitting it, right?
It's crazy, man. You know, so that's basically like I have to just like cling on to both sides, like cling on to the popular side where everybody is riding on, and still hold on to this side even stronger because nobody's riding on here.
Nobody's there, and I have that foresight.
And that's what brought me here, honestly.
The foresight.
Yeah.
You had shared that interview that you did. It was like 10 years ago, right?
Yeah.
10 years ago.
Yeah.
Is that still a channel that?
BBC.
Exists?
Yeah, exactly. My show. All right, so that interview is with BBC Radio, which is like British Broadcasting Corporation. They came out here because I have a show called I Rap TV, International Rhythms and Poetry, and the reason why I have that show is because again, it's not having a platform that I needed when I was coming up. So I
made your own.
Yeah, I made a show. That show actually won the best entertainment show. It's on BronxNet.
It's on BronxNet.
Yeah.
Okay. Wait, when can they watch it?
It's on BronxNet. For those who have Optimum, it's on channel 68. You can watch it every Saturday midnight. And for those who have Fios, it's 2134. And it's just every Friday, midnight or whatever, Yeah, so it's just like a platform that I created.
After hours.
And 2135.
Oh yeah,
that's naughty people time.
2134, 2135, and channel 68 because that's the same one that we
Facts.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, that's dope.
Okay,
that's
memory.
Dope.
Okay, memory.
Yeah. Yeah, that's dope.
I'll be
man.
long in the bed, but I will stay up to watch
yeah.
it.
But yeah,
okay?
no, before it used to be on at 2 p.m. when I first started. That was like 10 years ago.
Mhm.
But then that time, those who were 12 years old and now 22 years old. And now the African stuff. Back then, they didn't show too much of the booty and stuff like that. But now, now that it's been,
It's like BET Uncut.
Yeah, exactly. So
You
at
remember
first,
that, Shirley?
yeah, at first it's more like the African feel. But now the African artists realize like the Americans like to watch the whole.
And
like,
we invented booty.
and basically, so now
So
they
why wouldn't we?
and they added that to their videos now. So now I can't show that 2 p.m. because they have naked.
Yeah.
So I have to really like move it into midnight where those who want to curse can curse on all that stuff. It's crazy.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's a lot. And I was just saying, as I'm getting older, or I was talking to Charles, I think, as I get older, like I have less tolerance for like the degradation of the women and the booty, but that's what the kids want to hear.
That's what they're into, man. It's crazy.
So do you have to cater, or do your artists have to cater to what the kids want to hear, or do they are they allowed to stay true to
You know what it is? You're allowed to stay true to yourself, but it's like this. It's like owning a restaurant, right? You can't just make food you want to eat.
You can't.
Like, oh yeah, like yo,
Wow.
listen, man, I don't like, yo, man, I don't like salt. Okay, you don't like salt, then bro,
Don't eat
you ain't
salt.
gonna make no money because the people who are buying from you are salt eaters. So are you making it to eat it by yourself, or are you making it to produce it? So all right, for instance, like most of my songs, I don't think I have a decent love song by myself yet. You know what I'm saying?
Love song?
I don't know how to write love songs.
He does.
Yeah, I don't know how to write those. I don't know how to like I don't know how to put myself in a baby girl. I love like it could be a song where somebody will do the chorus and not do a verse. But
Drake-esque.
I don't know how to sit down and do. I'm more with with life issues and stuff like that. You know
That's
what I'm
what
saying?
you're Sagittarius. Or?
Yeah, maybe, yeah. But I'm not. You know what I'm saying? I've never been able. I call that almost like selling my soul type of stuff. Like where to do things that I'm not. Yeah, like to do things that I'm not into, right? Because it will generate some kind of
revenue.
Because then when it doesn't, it breaks you in half. And that's the part about selling your soul. That when you sell your soul, it's like you know what you're doing is not something that you would do. So when it goes well, then you end up selling your soul some more. But when it doesn't go well, you know what happens? It sets you back and it throws you off your originality. It's like being on a train and the train is sitting there waiting, or the train is thrown off the track. What happens is that instead of you standing on there waiting, you're thrown off the track now because now you got to be able to come back into your own track in order to move forward again. So it's certain things that I just wouldn't do.
You just wouldn't do.
Yeah. It
So
doesn't-
can you break this down, maybe for someone that is an aspiring artist, like the benefits of being an independent artist versus being mainstream?
All right. Being independent, basically, one, first of all, the profits all come to you. Most artists don't want to invest.
Okay.
I invest in everything. I don't mind paying for an event. I don't mind. All the promoters that's watching, y'all know how I do things already. I'm gonna put the money in your pocket.
You know what it
and
is.
Then you're gonna multiply it 4 times when I need it back.
Wow.
So if you charge me 100, I'm gonna charge you 400. You get me? So whatever investment I make because of how serious I am in my business, I get it back. So there's no it's an award show going on in Atlanta. I'm gonna fly there.
Yeah.
Because I know when I fly there are people out there who's looking for me, who want to work with me. You know what I'm saying? And that all the profits come to me. That's the first benefit of being an independent. As long as you're willing to pay for all the money that goes into the work, you get everything back yourself.
Or to have the money. I think
Yeah.
that a lot of people's issues, they don't have the money.
Yeah, exactly.
what I mean?
Yeah, you have to. First of all, you have to have the money. You have to have money to pay your bills and have money left over for this business before you, to be in it. You just can't be in it just because you look good or because you're strong or because you're a gangster. You bought 3 guns. You shot 3 people. You did 8. All I don't mean nothing. It's a business. You got to be able to put $1 in and see back $5 every time. Like that's the, you know what I'm saying. And when you put $1 in, don't see anything back. It shouldn't break you. That's how you know that you in it to be in it. You know what I'm saying? So as an independent artist, my main thing I'm gonna tell you is this: main thing, ownership. Get your ASCAP, get your publishing, get your LOCs, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, do those things. Those things. That's what matters.
Who are like the top 3 Ghanaian rappers right now?
Top 3 Ghanaian. My first one. Look at her. Her name is King Jenny. King Jenny. It's actually a new artist that's out, and I say she's Kin, like a king.
Oh, King.
Yeah, King Jenny.
Okay. With a J?
Yeah, Jenni. And she's that's the artist that I listen to. That, you know what I'm saying. It's also one kid named Sin, Sinn. Yeah, and Sin actually just got featured by Spotify.
I was gonna say that sounds familiar.
Yeah. The artist I was telling you about. The artist I
Yeah,
work
maybe
with.
that's what you told me.
Yeah. He was part of. He was yeah.
You know, I don't remember.
Yeah, he was featured by Spotify last week. On Spotify's New Music Ghana Fridays.
That's awesome.
Yeah. He's based out here, and in order to do that, you gotta be in Africa for that. So he did it based out here. So yeah, you know, so you gotta go. Yeah, and the last one's myself. Nana NYC. Look it up, man. You know what I'm saying? Oh, wait, let me say this too. let me say this too. For those who have Apple, like Apple Music, you go on there. My album is called Afro King of Hip Hop. The first one, I have 7 stars, the most stars in the world.
Oh my
Drake,
God.
Rihanna. I mean, line them up right now. Go on your phone, look
See?
go to Apple Music. Look at my album got 7 stars, the most in the world. If anybody got more than me, bro, I owe you $1. You heard?
Not $1.
Yeah, $1. So I can pay for that. If somebody beat me,
braids.
if somebody beat me,
I want those.
yeah, oh yeah, this
Off
actually,
topic.
this
Sorry.
actually King Jenny, the artist I was
Oh,
telling you
No,
about.
you're King Jenny. I'm like starstruck.
Yeah, that's King Jenny. Yeah.
Braids is popping. You can't see them, but the braids are popping, and I want some. Okay.
Yeah.
I just can't sit that long. It's hard. It's hard for me to sit. But anyways, I had a question. I just lost my train of thought. We're so attention deficit over here, you guys.
I know. I'm curious to know, Nana, like how do you see like this wave of music, especially African music in the United States, affecting or influencing our African students?
Oh yeah.
Because I have more African students now than I've ever had, and it seems
Wow.
that our school is a lot more.
Yes.
Like all the black students seem to be from Africa.
And they have more pride now.
Yes.
You
than
know,
they did
and
years ago.
Yes.
it's beautiful to see, but I want to know, like, do these kids listen to this type of music?
Yes, they do. You know what it is? It gives us an identity.
Yeah.
Like you know, like now about doing the whole Afrobeat dance, whatever. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? So if you're an African kid that already know how to do it, and you do it in school, like, oh, that's so cool. Like, look at him. You know what I'm saying? It just give us it like. Growing up, I didn't have that.
Yeah.
I like, you know what I'm saying? I was here when we couldn't hear Spanish on the radio. I was here when it was only Puerto Rican flags. It wasn't no Dominicans here. Like, it was like, Puerto Rico, hey. From that time,
true.
yeah, from that time to
Wow.
to Tego and them coming on and being on the radio. So it's like it'll give us the same kind of identity the Hispanics got. You know what I'm saying? From and I would say the Hispanics because that's what I always thought. Like we have Spanish DJs on the radio. And I think the next thing that we need now on the radio is African DJs.
I agree.
Like saying not no American DJs who have African friends who are saying play this song, play that song. I'm talking about African DJs.
Like an African station.
Yeah, like
A station that caters to-
not even Hot 97, but with a DJ who's in tune with Africa, not just somebody who knows the popular African songs. You get me? Because that's how you break a genre through. Really,
That's right.
is by finding the people who are the source of it to basically
So would you
output
have
it.
to transport someone from Ghana or
No.
wherever,
They're
Nigeria?
here.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, they're here. Yeah, you know, like now if you go on the radio, it's American DJs playing the African music, which is cool. But like, you know what I'm saying? Like a time will come where that's one thing I want to do. I want to produce a show on a major platform that just like that caters to African, you know what I'm saying, African artists and stuff like that.
And you will.
Yeah, and that's why I did Rap TV. Like, so that one set up like TV show stuff, whatever, you know.
That's awesome.
Yeah, but for the radio, I want to see that happen.
Well, I am going to Ghana this summer.
Please, listen. Facts.
And because I need to see this with my own 2 eyes. I dated someone from Ghana, and he was just telling me like how rich his dad was. He's like, my dad is like a millionaire, and he's like, you never know it. Like he wears like the same dirty sneakers, the same. He's like, he's so humble, but he's like, you see that a lot there. I know I saw it in Nigeria. You're either rich or poor. There's not like a happy
In the
medium.
middle.
And I just want to see that with my own 2 eyes.
And I've heard that from like a lot of my African students too. Like not just 1 or 2 countries. It's like so many countries in Africa are so like doing really well.
Yes.
And it's not like what we see in like TV shows or
Nah,
movies.
you know,
Oh my God.
You know what it is? You know what? Like what we're missing is the water, the 24 hours water. We're missing the 24 hours electricity. We're missing the like the stuff that make life beautiful in America are those things. Other than that, listen, I could walk through a neighborhood. Don't worry about nobody shooting me down. I could walk, and that's one of the biggest misconceptions that I had as an African when I came here. I thought all black folks, Hispanic schools was cool. I didn't know that it's something like it could be a black neighborhood, and some kids you can't even cross the street and go here. So that's those things that that's about Africa that we're not dealing with that. We're not dealing with the fact that I see somebody who like my cousin over there, but I can't go there because I don't know if they're gonna jump me or not. I don't know if they're gonna ask me why I'm coming here.
Why do you think it's like that here?
I don't know. That's for me. That's one of the most scariest things, man. When even your own kind, when you go somewhere and you see 20 people in front of a building, and you gotta almost like pray 3 times before you can walk through that joint. You get me?
And I just told him, I
And that's
said,
crazy.
I never felt unsafe until like just the past few months.
Yeah.
I never felt unsafe in New York. I heard things, but now the things that I'm seeing and witnessing, even in our school, we're having a theft situation now where kids are going into teachers' purses when they're not in their room, taking their purses, and one poor teacher, you know what I'm talking about, she had her wallet and her car keys stolen.
Oh my God.
And they were never recovered, okay?
How'd she get home?
Sir, she had to take an Uber.
Oh, I thought
Straight
she
up.
walked.
No,
That's a killer.
I get with you. But that, as much as we give to these children, like, how dare you?
Yeah.
That's what is scaring me now.
It's crazy.
And it's my own people.
That's the
White
scary
people,
part.
I'm not clutching my purse when I go to Manhattan.
And those thefts, like if you think about it too, like in Harlem, there's been like an uptick of robberies, right?
Yeah.
And it's people that look like you
Yeah.
going into your house. Some
Yes.
of them even know you.
Why
Yes.
though? Why are you going in my house? Why can't you go down?
Like you grew up with me and you're
To white
robbing me.
people's house.
Yeah.
For real.
Huh?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yes. Facts.
Is that on your page?
Yeah,
I
yeah,
remember
it's
that
on page. That's
picture.
actually
Okay.
her name is Grace. It's a model I
That's
work with.
beautiful.
I worked
That's
with
a
years
beautiful
ago.
picture.
Yeah, she's a supermodel right now. She's in Ghana. So if you know anybody out there who's looking for any supermodels, like they come in from Africa or whatever, Grace is she's out
I
there.
do,
Yeah, I had to do a couple of videos, whatever. She's big time. She took time off. I think she had 2 kids. Now she's back.
She's
yeah,
beautiful.
natural. Yeah, Grace.
No, I'm going because I think I'm done with the United States.
I know.
I don't want
Yeah.
to come back here.
We gotta change the environment.
And y'all invited, and that's
Stop
the thing about
laughing
it.
at me, Charles.
Y'all
Yes, I
invited.
got it.
Y'all invited. And you know what's crazy about it? Y'all need it. Like you guys are. There's things that you guys can do that easier over there than here.
Absolutely, that's what my dad
Easier,
said.
yeah. It's so easy, but then they gotta be focused. You gotta really be about it to make it happen. But it's way easier. It's less expensive.
That's
It's,
what,
yeah.
That's
You know
what
what I'm
he
saying?
told me.
You could do it.
And it's more positive.
It's
I'm
more
sure.
positive, and
It
you're
is.
dealing with people who appreciate what you're doing for them, and they will take, like you said, they'll take $1 and turn it into $5,000.
Yep.
Easily,
Yep.
because they have that passion and
We
aggression.
need to get
you know what I'm
everybody
saying?
up out of the United States.
Not everybody.
Our black
Everybody's not
people,
welcome.
well,
Gated
yeah.
community.
Yeah.
Get it coming.
Facts.
Everybody's not welcome. I was barely welcome in Nigeria. My dad had to co-sign because they were not trying to have me come to the picnic. They weren't. They're like, if
They don't
you're-
want. They don't want your negativity.
They,
you
well,
know?
they said I have rape genes. So the
Yeah.
darker you are there, the more beautiful
my
you
God.
are.
Facts.
So when you're fair skinned,
It was Nigeria.
Nigeria. Yeah.
that's what I heard and that's what I saw.
Wow.
But it was mostly like the women, they were just very, that
Yeah,
attitude.
like hating.
Is that what
Jealous,
it is?
yeah.
It's a damn shame.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, they hating.
Selling the cream. out
Jamaicans
there to
Yeah.
lighten your skin.
Jamaica, yeah.
So, Nigeria.
Yeah.
Bleaching.
Yeah, even Jamaica.
Oh, Jamaica.
Hell yeah.
I know in Nigeria they have.
Hell
Nigeria
yeah,
is more
Nigeria.
than them.
Nigeria, Ghana, all of them. Ghana
It's a
too,
dang on
all of them.
shame.
It's crazy.
Meanwhile, Kim and Kim K and them, they trying to
You're
get
lit.
our features.
Darker,
Make
yeah.
it make sense,
It's
somebody.
crazy.
But we have like 1 minute left. They don't want to be
No,
too
no, no.
dark.
There's a line that they cannot cross.
Yeah,
See,
yeah,
that's
a
what
lot
I'm sick of.
Yeah, like how dark is too dark, how light is
That's
light.
what I'm tired of.
They don't want to be midnight. That's what
Yeah,
they
exactly. You want to be like me.
Why though?
That's what they say.
That's
They
not
don't wanna be
chocolate.
midnight.
Oh God.
Which just
And
makes no sense.
it makes absolutely no sense.
Like why? At
You
least be
know?
it naturally. Listen, we want to be rich, but be rich naturally. Like we want to be something.
We lost any trace of naturality. In
It's
this
over.
country.
It's over. It's
It's
over.
done,
It's
yeah.
over. Yeah, it's over.
Tell them where they can find you, please.
Yup, you can find me Nana NYC on all social media on like platforms. I'm on Facebook, Nana NYC verified. Of course, those people who are out there. Somebody, it was official, and somebody bagged my page because it has a blue check. You know, people I don't know what they're doing. I don't know if they're selling organs of the blue checks or what, but people are hacking pages, and they hacked my page. And whoever it was, I got it back. So, you know what I'm saying? But follow me on all social media, Nana NYC. You know what I'm saying? I got music out on all platforms. You know what I'm saying? Spotify, everywhere. Nana NYC, same name.
7
everywhere.
stars Apple Music.
Yeah, trust 7 stars, the most in the world. Like I said, you can look it up. If you see more than me, I owe you $1. And if you know her, I'll give it to her to come give it to you.
I can't make any
Word.
promises. You might get the dollar you make. I
Know
don't
what I mean?
I know.
I'll
we
see what I
broke
can do.
teachers out
We
here. So you may just keep it.
Apparel, where can we get this lovely apparel?
You know, the Afro King outfit, it didn't come out yet, you know what I'm saying? But I just dropped a website called afroshopus.com.
Okay.
And that's going to have a lot of African products, whatever,
I
on
love
it, including this too. But it didn't come out yet. It's just me and my friends, my people just rocking it for now to see how it is
Advertising.
before it comes out. I want to see if the material is on point, how many times I can wash it, how long you could dry it, like all that stuff.
Got
I
it.
got to make sure before it come out.
I love that.
Wow.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so much for joining us.
Thank
and
you.
now
Thank
we need to
you.
have King Jenny back.
I
for
know.
her own interview. She got tea to spill too. I'm not gonna get her. You know, she's got tea and
gorgeous, the gore.
beautiful,
Oh
you
my
guys.
God.
He just came back from Ghana
A
too. She just,
doll.
she just came back from Ghana
Oh,
last
that's
month.
that Ghana son we looking
Yeah,
at.
yeah.
We will
Yes.
definitely have her back on the show. Thank you guys so much for joining us. We are getting kicked out. But we will be back.
God bless my haters. God bless fake hoes. God bless these haters. Cause God don't need no that. All I do is get it. All I